I get scared when I see mainstream white media. When I see mainstream white media pick up black folks' business. So if I see it going down in the black DMs and black folks got something, we having an online discussion, and then white media picks it up, that kind of scares me.
Uh-oh.
When white
Yeah, I'm
folks
with you
start
on that.
minding
Yeah.
black folks' business. So when I saw them list going viral, uh, when I saw them lists going viral, I'm like, oh shit, I need to make some lists. So
Uh-oh.
all I did when they were talking about that list of a group of
Oh, no.
anonymous black women.
That's the wrong one, man. That's the number 2. You needed the first list.
Never go on a first date. Okay. Brother Diallo's do not date or procreate with list.
People who don't read ingredients. You know what? Don't read.
Listen,
People
if
who don't hang
somebody
out
don't
with
read the ingredients, they don't care about their life or yours. Everything on this list.
But
I'm
I
telling you.
don't listen. I don't know if that's
I'm already out on number 2, man. Come on, man. Well,
yeah, that's wild. I
don't have any.
Yeah, that's the first.
I don't actually know. I only know 2 cousins, and neither of them are thugs. But I do have cousin-in-laws who I think qualify, and I absolutely hang out outside of family functions.
See that then you were the thugged out cousin. That's the thing. That's the secret. I was calling you thugged out without trying to call you thugged out. Because the only time I be around my wild relatives is when my grandma and aunties are there to oversee them, because that's when they try to hold it together.
I think
you are hanging out
is
with your thugged
thing.
out cousins outside of family functions, that means you the thugged out cousin.
No, it doesn't.
Hey, Diallo, I think number 1 is
I've only been around my thugged out cousins and half siblings. Thanksgiving, the various barbecues, some birthdays, baby showers.
Diallo, what's the measurement for thugged out though? Maybe how do you determine thugged out?
It varies from region to region. Depends.
I think
Midwestern, East Coast, Dirty South, West Coast.
Diallo be fishing for attention. No, he's spreading love. Ricky, didn't you hear him? He's not fishing for. He's spreading. He's fishing.
But, hey, listen,
he's
if
casting
that's my
out
goal,
for love.
If that's my goal, then Erica is an enabler.
Oh, but I think I'm with you on. So wait. So just so we're clear. So number 1 is people who don't read ingredients,
which I think is vegan bias. I think that's vegan bias.
No, I'm with you on that. Why? No, I'm absolutely. He's absolutely right about that. And honestly, if it's more than 4 or 5 ingredients, you probably in trouble. So you do need to be reading ingredients. I'm with Diallo.
If people don't read ingredients, they don't care about their lives and can't care about yours.
That's facts.
People who hang out with their thugged out cousins outside of family functions is the thugged out cousin. So you gonna have to be a ride or die. Them type of people turn you into a ride or die. Have you flushing shit? Have you stuffing stuff?
Because they know the rules. They know that I'm not the thug.
Don't,
so they
don't pull over to the shoulders when the lights come on behind them.
How I get into this? What
they put the pen. Geechee. Oh, you're the enabler. You're enabling him. That's what they're saying.
Geechee don't know. Geechee be trying to bring me down.
Man, listen.
But I love
Geechee
number 3
to
too.
I be trying to help you out, bro. Trying to keep you relevant.
Oh man, we got a couple issues needing repair, right? And we had a repair person at the house yesterday, and I sneezed, and dude said, "Bless you," and my wife, knowing me, said, because I gotta just smile. No, I sneezed again, and his joke was, "Well, you only get one," which I thought was funny. I thought that was funny.
Fly.
But my wife said, "Well, he doesn't want any of them," because she knows me. And I don't like when people bless
people
me.
Working on your house.
But that's what I said. I put my hand up. I'm with you. I put my hand up and was like, whoa. We don't have to get into all that right now. I was like, I'm good. I was like, thank you.
I listen, when it comes
cooking my
to
food
handyman,
fixing
to
my
contractor,
house,
right. I got a kufi, I got a yarmulke,
yes.
I got a crucifix. No, I'm not even joking.
Me,
I had like
I was like, hold up, baby, hold up, slow down.
Right. I'm telling you, man.
Oh
I had like
man.
some Eastern European Orthodox in here retiling my house, and I had on I had on a long cloak
You
and a
know what I'm
big
saying?
wooden cross.
I got the Book of Mormon downstairs. I got the
It's
King
on the same,
James.
right?
Yep. I got all of
Whoever
them.
comes through, I'm faking till you make.
I could do Sunni. I could do Shia. What you want?
I
I'm
got the
with
little.
it. Like,
I got the mats. I even got the Igun, the Shango cross axes. You know, I even got a makeshift shrine.
all of that.
Whoever
All
you
of
come
it.
to work on my house, you're gonna be welcome.
That's what I said. I was like, hold on. I was like, slow
You
this.
don't
All
mess
right.
with
So,
no contract.
but in general, I'm with you on that one. People who litter, that's a big one. I'm very much with you on that. Like straight up. If I'm on a date, like well, not anymore, obviously, but if I'm out and I see somebody, I'm like, man, it's a wrap. I think our relationship is over.
Thank you.
People who still
out
say
there.
swag, bling, or ballin'.
Yeah.
I think I said swag the other day. My
So you
bad.
can't
man.
swag surf
And
at
listen,
a party?
listen. This
Come
ain't
on,
what you think it is. These terms have
Ain't
been
like I got
co-opted by the
swag.
white majority.
Right, he
And
did
so
start with that. You're right. He did start with that point. You're right. You're right.
these terms have been co-opted by the white majority. So if you get with somebody that still plays tug of war, you got to get with somebody that can let stuff go. So you know, black folks, when we start saying stuff, when we start dabbing, and white folks start dabbing, and you start seeing that shit in their cereal and they fast food commercials, you need that. That's a sign of a person that knows how to let things go. If you get with somebody that is in 2023 still talking swag, bling, and balling, that's a person that doesn't know how to let shit go. That's a person that'll be in your bushes and slashing your tires after you try to break up with them. See, there's levels to everything on here. I don't want to say it directly. That's a person that just don't know how to let go.
People, oh man, I'm definitely with you on number 6. People who believe in prophecies in the end of
Listen,
times.
They might take it. They might try to jumpstart that shit.
Exactly.
Diallo,
I'm trying to keep my people safe.
listen.
Exactly.
So far on your posts, your little religious posts, most of your commenters, I don't know if they sycophants or they actually can read, but they definitely was misquoting the Bible that they say they know to be against.
What?
So
Wait,
you know what?
when did you become a Bible humper?
I just know I know my way around the Bible. I know that much. But I do know that the people who was on your post was misquoting verses, making up verses.
First of all, I gotta say this again. People have to understand how that Bible's put together. And if you don't at least read Hebrew, you can't make claims to what is and is not properly quoted. Because everybody's reading like 700 and almost all of them are quoting something that was originally in some Hebrew or Aramaic or Amharic or something like that. Aramaic probably.
First of all, one of the core tenets of the Bible of Christianity is that the Bible is God's unadulterated word. And the people who write the Bible, transcribe the Bible, were divinely inspired.
Right.
And God,
after all that, you should still be able to read it.
For his word.
After all that, you still should be able to read it. And if you're gonna argue a point, you shouldn't make up stuff. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, that's fair.
The book can be.
Why? The whole shit is made up.
Can I finish? Can I finish?
The whole shit is made up.
Before you go off?
You don't tell me about what I can make up about make-believe.
Can I finish before you go off? So there are books, right, that you can read, right? Just like your brother, your Hebrew brother that came on and lied about Kwame Nkrumah's book and said this. I don't think you should do that. It's so many things.
He could have been just wrong. We don't have to say he was lying. He might have been. Okay, well,
my bad. You know, I misuse the word lying and wrong, right? But in terms of this book, there's so many inaccuracies and so many issues with the book that you don't have to make up any. And so when you start making up stuff, I think you just lose your argument.
But I am, to both of you, I am very much like the comic book world. I don't care if it's made up. You still have to be faithful to it when you recite it. So
that's what I'm saying.
But not if
like you can't mistell Superman.
Well, listen.
Let me tell you something. Listen, again, with the Dewey Bible, the King James, the New International Version, they even came up with a hip hop Bible, and
of course they did.
White nationalists.
KRS got
the Book of Mormon, and all this shit. You can argue that if you want. We understand that especially Christianity in the West is so pervasive. that it has so inundated and saturated. I can understand people who engage in life, just get out here and breathe, eat, and sleep and drink in Western society. There's a lot of things that are that you have a hard time distinguishing between, you know, colloquialisms and folklores and myths and versus what Christianity actually says versus what Christianity does and what has been input or imposed on it. But I do agree with you. If someone is saying, I quoted this from the King James, from the Dewey, from the New International Version, this is an accurate or direct translation from the New Hebrew, woo, woo, woo. I do agree with you, Geechee. They should be accurate to that point. But a lot of times, you go to any church, at least around in the Black community, and they talk about the word versus a lot of what Christians do. When you do, which has happened to me several times, when I go to that book where they have things like, oh, Jesus loved everybody, Jesus came to bring us all together and all that stuff, and I go find scriptures that contradict that bullshit. And Christians want to run away from. Christians want to run away from the text.
It depends on who. It depends on who. It depends on who. So this is what I'm saying, right? So as Jared alluded to Hebrew, right? There's books that's from Romans to Philemon.
Wait. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go. I
Romans
didn't want to leave.
Philemon, supposedly what Paul wrote, right? And those things are drastically different than anything else in the book. So, which Paul himself, who's the author of 2 Timothy, who says, in order for you to understand the Bible, you have to be able to rightly divide it into parts of who's speaking to who and what. So, for instance, if there's a letter addressed to Diallo, I'm not going to read the letter addressed to Diallo and take it as my information for me. So, even people who supposedly study the Bible, they know that there's moral lessons, right? There's verses that you're not supposed to be taking literal. There's allegories. There's doctrinal lessons, things you're supposed to be doing. And then here's historical lessons that actually more often than not is inaccurate history. So you can't just take the Bible and say, oh, the Bible said this, and that's literally what preachers do. It's called proof texting. You can't take a verse out of context and just like, oh, the Lord said blah, blah, blah. Because some things are allegories and some things are direct information.
I'm sorry, Geechee, but who are you debating with, the Christians or the skeptics?
Well, so good question. So the question so when I did study and actually facilitate study groups for the Bible, there was atheists in there, there was Hebrew Israelite Christians, and my goal was, if you're going to believe the book or not believe the book, make sure that you have accuracies about what you believe or what you don't believe. There's people who say, well, I don't believe the Bible because blah, 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 and they can't even find it in the Bible.
The book. The book is just, hold on. First of all, you can reject if you're going to believe the book or not believe the book, because Christianity is not tied or reduced to the tenets in the Bible. Christianity.
Hell, did you just say that? Because it sounds like
Christianity
you be contradicting that all the time. So the Bible is not the final authority for Christians, is what you're saying.
What I said is absolutely it's not the final or the first. The Bible's not the authority for Christians.
You just said it was the inherent word of God.
Name a biblical Christian. Name a Christ-like biblical Christian. Name one.
Christ-like biblical Christian. See,
yes.
but that's
name
the thing.
one.
Let me finish.
Name one.
Hold on.
Say I can't.
This dude don't want me to answer. You want me to answer?
I do. You haven't answered one question. I asked you a direct question, and you just start saying what you want to say.
So what's the direct question?
I had asked you to name a biblical Christian.
I was just about to. You kept yelling. Name one. I was going to answer.
It take you that long to just say a name?
How the hell am I do that? Okay, so when you say Christ-like, right?
Now here you come asking me a question without answering mine.
Yeah, I don't like when people answer questions the way he answers questions.
But the question. First of all, I didn't mean for us. I'm just for my 2 cents. I didn't mean for us to go all the way down here. I'm trying to have fun with this list. but
Ain't nothing fun about this list. I'm trying to repair hearts and help people find love and stable relationships, rebuild the
But to
black
be
family.
fair, in all fairness, in all all whatever aside, Diallo, that question is not, I think, a good faith, pun intended, question.
He don't ever ask good faith questions. Have you?
Now, Geechee,
Okay.
I'm not trying to escalate. I'm just trying to say that I think if the discussion is to be kept to, or if there is to be a discussion of the accuracy or lack thereof of the Bible and I think there needs to be a more. You can't start doing the whole. It's not. I think it's less helpful to do the whole show me this, that, and the third. It's those provocative debate style. Just.
Well, I was attempting to make the point.
Okay.
Well, you don't have to make the point.
That Christianity is not limited to the Bible. I was saying that Christianity impacts and inundates every aspect and element of our lives. They are from public policy to the judicial system, to how resources are distributed, to determining who is worthy and unworthy to receive what, how children are abused, disciplined, and or cared for. So Christians don't give a shit about the Bible. Christians, the Bible is the tool. In this society, in Christianity specifically, Christianity is used. People don't submit to Christianity. People bend Christianity to their rules. So the accuracy, and I wish I could find me a Christ-like Christian or a biblical Christian.
So
but we know that the Bible, as you are arguing with all these translations, all these interpretations, and you sitting here talking nonsense about, oh, well, this is allegory, when we know goddamn well there are fundamentalists that say the Bible is God's unadulterated word, and that you have to adhere fundamentally to the word. You have the Unitarian Universalists who cherry pick the good stuff and leave the bad. The Bible.
Oh yeah, you had a lot of people cherry picking on your post, by the way. That was my point.
Okay.
And so proof texting is done by religious people, Christians, and by people who don't know the hell they talking about with the Bible. They proof text. They take a verse and say, "Oh, the Bible said this," without any context. Like on your post, you got your brother talking about Stephen was stoned because he committed adultery, and he put the verse up, and the verse literally saw Stephen getting stoned because he said, "Hey, y'all killed Christ and y'all kill all the prophets," and then they stone him. So your boy is on your chat, on your post defending the Christ he said you don't believe in. So what I'm saying is, when you proof text, you look stupid because you're not reading the book. And matter of fact.
Well, y'all told me to stop, and I have since October 7th for sure, probably even a couple weeks before that, because I do admit I can't take at this point in particular any overt Zionism, but I do respect the basic argument of that Tovia Singer, the rabbi that I was talking about, only to the point that people keep not reading the original text, and he keeps showing specifically from the original Hebrew to particularly the versions people are operating off of today, language has been massively adulterated to change entire contexts and histories, to create in the New Testament to try to bridge and to create a bridge to the New Testament for the emergence of Jesus out of the Old Testament, which never was calling for that and never said that, never would have supported that. So that's, and just as a method, I think that's such a convincing argument because, well, if people are going to claim to be that it is, as you all were saying, the inerrant word of God, they should know what the original word was or it claimed to be. Now, but to Diallo's point, and I do agree, my difference would be, and I really like Marimba Ani's argument about this, Christianity emerged out of Judaism because of the imperial ethic baked into it. The patriarchal ethic baked into it, so that from the beginning it has only ever been to serve that purpose from my perspective. So this idea that we can do something good with the religion is in spite of its original purpose and intent. So that's why I do agree at the end what Diallo is saying, that most people who believe they're not particular about the text because they're only using it to support an imposed pre-existing politic and worldview. So that's why the most vicious of them, like those groups that most people don't want to talk about when they only want to talk about Jews running the world, but these seemingly even more powerful groups like the family and whatnot, they've whittled the Bible down to literally a pamphlet just called Jesus, just with the quote unquote quotes of Jesus translated into English, because they don't even want to deal with, because their whole point is we just want to take these quotes and use it to run the world, to quietly run the world. So again, I have to agree on that broad point with Diallo that, man, we're all meant to play with the details, and that's why Clark was right in that
We
point
are the
about
true believers.
the true believers, out Pope the Pope, out Muhammad, and that so that part I agree with, and that's why I ultimately agree with this point
motherfucking Pope
about,
sitting on a golden throne, just making up new shit, fucking putting out papal bulls. They adding and we sitting here debating about the authenticity of their fiction when it's killing the shit out of us. Instead of debating about how we get that shit up off of us and being mad at each other for misquoting. Can you imagine sitting in a concentration camp debating about accurately quoting Mein Kampf? Two Jews, goddamn Orthodox Jew and a secular Jew sitting there talking about, oh no, Hitler, if we go to the text, if we go, man, fuck the Bible. Shit.
So that's, but as you also said, there are levels to this. So I can tolerate certain levels of belief if we're not at the overt, I believe the end of times and it's around the corner and I'm ready to bring it on. So I'm with you on that.
But listen, I went to a Catholic school and I had almost 3 straight semesters of going over transubstantiation. And I learned about how these crackers was hacking each other up and murdering each other over the debate of transubstantiation. And like Dale Jones said, I look to my people, and like Dale Jones said, we're literally hacking each other to bits over foreign ideologies. So you got that one, Geechee. Take the ribbon. Take the ribbon and run. You accurately quoted a particular part of an absurdist belief system, and somebody got it wrong. Okay. And then where do we go from
We're doing that silly shit right now, because that's not what it's about.
I'll ask you now. Let's say, what does it benefit us, African people, if we had the absolute, accurate, pinpoint, original translation of that book, and we got it and we know it? And then what? I'd rather be accurate. I'd rather debate you about the tenets and the merits of Blueprint for Black Power, or Neely Fuller's book, The Code System Concept. But if I just talk the Bible,
But speaking of that though, Diallo, correct me if I'm wrong, but let me ask it this way. Does Amos Wilson ever venture in his argument into your point about number 7, that there was an element that was where we were better off under Jim Crow? Because I feel like there is a tendency, I won't put it on him, but there is a tendency in certain nationalist arguments to make that claim, that we had more control over our businesses, we had more control over our education, we had more control over our social lives. So therefore, integration has just been a net negative.
My mother had me when I was 17 years old. When she was 17 years old.
Right, I was going to say that would have been a feat.
That one good thing about being the offspring of a teenage parent is that you really get to interact with your elders. My great grandparents, I know very well, great aunties, great uncles, great grandparents who came up in Jim Crow, Missouri, Jim Crow, Oklahoma, Jim Crow, Louisiana. And I think it's irresponsible for anyone to glamorize what it was really like for Black people under Jim Crow and pre-desegregation era. I know there's a lot of bad things and a lot of missteps in our liberation and desegregation and integration and struggle. A lot of things that I think we need to correct. But I do find a lot of this, especially the people who talk, we had high rates of marriage and things of that nature. And then I also think that a lot of times when people thinking about pre-Jim Crow era, a lot of times they thinking about Harlem. They thinking about St. Louis and Chocolate City and Chi-Town. But black people under Jim Crow were under, apartheid conditions. And I even see how apartheid and the anti-apartheid struggle played out in South Africa, where there's starting to be some of this, I think, ahistoricism or historical distortion about, in the good old days. Everybody does it, even white folks. With white folks longing to go back to the pre New Deal America, when America, how that what's that song for All in the Family? We need to see those days again. Yeah. I simply think that
those were the days.
I think that when people are under oppression, there tends to be this regression type thinking that, if we could just go back. My argument is we need to advance forward. I don't think there's any salvation for us to return to conditions. Yes, we had our own businesses. Yes, we had 70% of black families, households, and things. But they look at those positive statistics in a vacuum. They look at those positive statistics, like my wife's father, who came up in Macomb, Mississippi, would literally go to school on a Monday and have to walk past the mutilated corpses of his community members because the white boys got drunk and wanted to get their muster up. So it wasn't all good. And they would do it. And at least now, I ain't saying we ain't still dying now. I'm not saying they not still lynching us now. But the condition and the atmosphere and how we maneuver through society is different. And I would argue we're in a better position to struggle. Now, we're not free. But the things I could say now and maneuver through society, my great-grandfather, Grandpa Sonics Bowie, could not say and still maneuver through society. So I think we take a lot of things for granted. And I also think it shits on the struggles and sacrifices of our ancestors to pretend like they put us in a bad position in the struggle, when that's just not the case. We might have dropped the baton, but the baton was passed.
Right on, fair enough. I definitely agree with you on number 8. And I saw already in the chat someone was asking, why is ADOS and FBA on there? But to me, those are the most regressive, backwards, anti-black, anti-radical politics that have emerged in the last few years, as far as I'm aware of. And they are baked in white conservative, reactionary, cut ourselves off from internationalist support, cut ourselves off from radical traditions politics that has just draped itself in nonsense while literally wrapping themselves in the American flag. I can't even, I just.
And when they get on, they're going to leave your ass for a white spouse. You know when that reparations check comes, they're going to kick you to the curb. You can just tell. They rubbing their ideological hands together. As soon as the check is cut, we ain't going to hear from them no more. They not going to answer the phone.
Worse for me is that I would suspect that in a situation where a check were cut, which I have a hard enough time believing would ever happen, but in that situation, what we would be expected or have had to give up to get that check will make the check useless. It's just, for me, it would be, if I was single and in the dating world, that would be maybe on the top of the list. Are you familiar with ADOS? And if they said yes and I'm down with it, I'm walking out. Running out.
Run. Don't walk.
So people who have straight pride, that to me, I don't know any. I've never seen. I know some black folks that have some pretty, I think would be even considered outright homophobic views, but I've not seen anyone go straight pride. That to me is the whitest thing ever. So
there's a whole straight pride movement.
Yeah.
Who shall not be named, Irritated Bowels. He has a whole straight pride movement. And I had a sister who was like, oh, this list is pretty good to go by, but I'm straight pride.
Yeah.
There's still black folks out here who are fighting, struggling on the front lines, fighting off the agenda.
Yeah.
You know,
linking up with the
Dr.
Klan
Umar
to do
backed off that shit when they threatened his license.
Is that what happened?
Backed off that, yeah. He left the gay agenda alone a little bit and started focusing more on fighting miscegenation and That seems to be his shtick right now. But yeah, straight pride is the movement is still present and relatively strong within the Black community.
And so, and I'm with you on the anti-woke thing too, because I see that as a white co-opted backlash too. Like woke has I think beautiful origins. So I'm with you on that. So then the only other question I have is, so what was Dr. CBS's issue?
She said it was an absurd list.
Just that was it? Oh, I thought there was something specific.
No, I showed you her comment. I
only saw the screenshot of the comment itself, so I wasn't sure if there was more context.
That was it. I showed you everything I had. You know how when I snitch, I tell it all. Ain't no such things as halfway snitches. I ain't holding nothing back. I told.
Well, I don't know what to say.
Want love. Some people don't want healthy relationships.
I don't think there's anything.
I can leave my community to water. I can leave my community to love water, but I can't force my community to drink it.